Hello everyone, got 5 dirty jokes for you today. So a teenage granddaughter comes downstairs for her date with a see-through blouse on and no bra. Her grandmother pitches a fit, telling her not to dare go out like that. The teenager yells back, "Loosen up, Grams. These are modern times. You gotta let your rosebuds show." And out she goes. The next day, the teenager comes downstairs, and the grandmother is sitting there with no top on. The teenager gets embarrassed and lets her grandmother know that she has friends coming over shortly, and that it's just not appropriate. The grandmother says, "Loosen up, sweetie. If you can show off your rosebuds, then I can display my hanging baskets." So 3 men were sitting at a veterans bar talking. One was American, one was English, and one was African. At some point, the American said, "Did you know that our Air Force is so big that when all our planes are out flying, we can't even see the sun?" "That's nothing," scoffed the Englishman. "Our Navy is so huge that if we line up all our boats, we can walk on a straight line all the way from England to America without getting wet feet." After a short while, the African said, "One day when I was taking a piss in the forest, 14 crows landed on my wiener at the same time." That was when they all realized that maybe, just maybe, they all over-exaggerated. The American admitted, "Well, maybe we do see the sun shining through." An Englishman answered, "And we actually have to swim a bit to reach the American shoreline." And the African said, "And those 14 crows, well, they were sitting pretty close together." So a man finds himself in need of a good lawyer. He finds one online and goes to his office. After being allowed inside, he sits across from the lawyer. He needs legal help, but he wants to make sure he can afford it first. "Can you tell me how much you charge?" he asks. "Of course," the lawyer replies. "I charge $800 to answer 3 questions. The man was alarmed. "Don't you think that's an awful lot of money to answer 3 questions?" he inquired. "Yes, it is," answers the lawyer. "What's your 3rd question?" So a new business was opening, and one of the owner's friends wanted to send him flowers for the occasion. They arrived at the new business site, and the owner read the card, which said, "Rest in peace." The owner was angry and called the florist to complain. After he had told the florist of the obvious mistake and how angry he was, the florist replied, "Sir, I'm really sorry for the mistake, but rather than getting angry, you should imagine this. Somewhere, there is a funeral taking place today, and they have flowers with a note saying, 'Congratulations on your new location.'" So a man visits a zoo and asks to speak to the director about the new Rent an Animal program. The zoo has fallen on hard times financially, so they decided to rent some of their animals outside the usual visitation hours. Usually it's the small, cuddly ones, but this man asks for one of the elephants. "An elephant?" the zoo director asks. "Yes, the biggest one you have, please." The man says, quite certain. "I mean, we can do that." The director muses, "But it won't be cheap. That's $5,000 per day of rental alone and an additional $4,000 for transportation. And you'll need to feed the elephant on your own bill, too." "That will not be a problem," the man says. "I'll just need him for a day, so here's $10,000 for your troubles." With that settled, the elephant gets transported to the man's address. "Very good. Put him in the bedroom on the 2nd floor," the man orders. The personnel tries to get the elephant into the house, but he just doesn't fit through the door. Without hesitation, the man calls a construction company and rents a crane to get the elephant up through the dismantled window and then reseal the window at horrifyingly high cost. You know what? It is none of my business, the zoo director asks at this point, but I must know, what is all this for? Well, you see, the man explains. My wife's brother is living with us and he's a horrible know-it-all. Every quiz show we watch, he blurts out the answers before we can even take a guess. Every morning, he solves our crossword puzzles. He has beaten me 15 times in a row at Trivial Pursuit. But this evening he will go upstairs, come back down and say, "Hey, guess what? There's an elephant in my bedroom." And I won't even look up from my book and just say, "Yes, I know."